Okay, the last one here for factoring is special cases. This is difference of squares. We're also going to look at some solving here in this one. So remember, difference of squares is a special case because there is no x term here in the middle. And why does that happen? Because one case is a positive, one case is a negative. All you really need to do is identify, is this a square? Yes. What do you square to get 144? 12. What do you square to get x squared? X. Is this a square? Yes. What do you square to get 1? 1 and 1. One case is positive, one case is negative, and there you go, it's factored. Okay, so here's 144 again, so that's 12. 12. Y squared would be y times y. 49 is a square, that is 7. X to the 4th is a square, that's x squared. X squared, one case is a positive, one case is a negative. Now, one thing I would caution you, after you factor, make sure it's completely factored. Sometimes this may be a difference of squares because it's a minus. In this case, it's not, because 7 is not a square, 12 is not a square, and y is just to the first power. The x squared is a square, so just, sometimes you're going to get problems where you can keep factoring it down. Okay, now we're to 4 terms, so this is a review. Here we do grouping. So we group the first 2, group the second 2. I'll expand this a little bit and give myself a little bit more room. Okay, what can I take out of the first group? Look for GCF. In this case, they both have x's. The most I can take out is 2, so I take out 2 x's. Sorry about that. Got a little post there. So that is 2x plus 3. Look at the next one. Take out a negative. Negative what? What'll go into 50 and 75? 25. Okay. What's that leave? 25 times 2x and 25 times positive 3 because that was a negative. Now again, remember what has to happen. These groups have to be the same, which they are. So I have 2x plus 3. And then I take what's left outside, which is x squared minus 25. Now, you might think you're done, but you are actually not. So what I just got through telling you a minute ago, you got to pay attention real close here. And this is the thing about factoring that makes it a little difficult. You're not done until you can't do any more. That is a difference of squares, so I have to factor it. So I'd still bring the 2x plus 3 down. How does that factor? X times x is x squared. 25 would be 5 and 5. One's a positive, one's a negative. Now it's completely factored. So some of these, that's the reason I'm giving you multiple attempts on these. Some of these you may actually be factoring correctly, but maybe you haven't factored it completely. Okay, this one is a time skill. You have to beat 100 seconds and you have to get, you see over here, 10 of these. So I just stopped it on the very first one, and it says what method of factoring should be used first. And you always start with GCF, and in this case, there is a GCF. They both have an M, okay? Sometimes it may be a difference of squares, okay? Or it's a trinomial, or in some cases, it may not factor. There may not be a way to factor it. Again, that's what makes it a little difficult, but it's something you need to practice and recognize. Finally, we're going to do some solving, okay? So solving by factoring, you want it in standard form, and you want it equal to 0, okay? So in this case, I've got to combine my like terms. So I'm going to subtract 2x, and then I'm going to go ahead and subtract 5 too. So all that's going to cancel. So on the left side, that's going to give me x squared plus 8x plus 7 all equals 0. Now that I have this trinomial on the left-hand side, I'm going to factor it. So factors of 7 that add to give me 8, and that's 1 and 7. They're both positive. Now, previously, this is what we would write down as our solution, but that is not solving, okay? That's what it is when it's factored. When you solve, you have to set up each equation. So really, it's x plus 1 equals 0, x plus 7 equals 0, and then you solve. Subtract 1, subtract 1. X equals -1, subtract 7, x equals -7. So my solutions are -1 and -7. Those are my solutions. And something we can remind ourselves, when it's with the x, it's not what you think. So if it's plus 1, my solution's a negative. If it's plus 7, my solution's a -7. And we're going to expand on this solving in the next couple modules that we look at as well.